Hey Bronco fans, Lauren Matheson here reporting for EYEBRONCO. I'm here joined by Jay Bilas, who just spoke with our men's basketball team in a meeting today. So your book, Toughness, just came out earlier this month, or earlier this year perhaps. Tell us a little bit about that book.
Well, it's funny. I as a player years and years ago, toughness was something that was really valued by the coaches that I played for, but I'm not sure it was ever really defined for me, and it was something I was always searching to be better at. And I wasn't sure I was the toughest guy. I certainly wasn't on my team, but I wanted to be. And I did a lot of research on it. I talked to a lot of people that I knew, and was able to come up with the concept and help to define it. And I think one of the great things about it for me, I think I'm becoming tougher by having studied it so much, but to be able to come to a place like Santa Clara and have the book used as a jumping off point for players and coaches to communicate about what was important to them, and how they could all be individually and collectively tougher and better. It's really inspiring.
Well, you just talked about inspiration right there, and it seemed like it took a while for you to write this book. What inspired you to write this book?
You know, it's funny. In my job, I have to watch a lot of basketball, and I enjoy the heck out of it. And I had been watching some game tape, and I saw a player out there that was kind of behaving like a bully. And the person that was in my position, you know, as the commentators talked about how tough the guy was, and I thought, you know, that's not what toughness means to me. And I wrote an article about it. That motivated me or inspired me to write an article about what I thought toughness meant in basketball. And I couldn't believe the response. I didn't write it necessarily to get a response, but it got a response from coaches and teachers and people literally all over the world. And from that, I got the feeling that people wanted to discuss it more. And so I just I didn't want it to be just about basketball. And so I made it about all different walks of life. And hopefully it'll be helpful to somebody. If it helps people that read it to have more of a conversation with their teammates and their colleagues about how to be better. If it starts that conversation, then I think it was successful.
Well, each of the Broncos this season picked a single word, and Coach Keating said they were going to put it up in the locker room, hold each other accountable on and off the field. What would your word be?
That's a good question. I think that's an amazing concept. I think my word would be perspective. That I'm trying to make sure that I have the right perspective on things all the time, and that's not always easy when you're running around trying to do well in your job, and we have responsibilities with family that are incredibly important. But sometimes you have to make choices. I think there are times when you think you can have it all and you can't, and you can be all things to all people and you can't. And for me to have the right perspective, to make sure that I have the right choices and I keep my priorities in line, that would probably be mine. Maybe it should be priorities. You put me on the spot there, but it's an amazing concept that Kerry Keating and his staff have come up with, because it really makes you think about what's important. And for the players to have an understanding of each other and get to know what motivated you to pick that for yourself. Because you really are saying, here, this is important to me. And I think that's an amazing thing they're doing. And I think you'll be able to see it on the floor from them, but more importantly, just for them. I mean, it's a wonderful thing for them.
Well, you mentioned a couple of times during the meeting, like soccer legends. I played soccer here, so kind of stuck out to me. Julie Foudy, Mia Hamm. What were some things in your book that you learned specifically from them?
A lot about training and pushing your limits, pushing through to another gear. And I think Julie Foudy was really profound in a lot of the things that she said about, you know, that you have this physical training, and there are certain days, you know, you've been through it, that you don't feel like it, you just don't have it, but somebody else does, and that's their responsibility to take the lead and pull everybody with them and raise their level and pick them up. And that's sometimes easy to say, it's not easy to do. And then she said another thing about that I thought was great. Julie said, she's like, why is the sky the limit? You know, that she kept pushing, you know, raising that level. And the rewards that they got were pretty profound too, and they're such nice people. Like, I've gotten to know Mia and Julie, and over the years, and they're not only incredible competitors and incredibly successful, but they're as nice as you can possibly get, which shows that toughness and being a tough person, being a nice person, those aren't mutually exclusive. You can be both, and they are both.
So what's next for you? You gonna write another book? Gonna start coaching? What's up?
Yeah, I've done the coaching thing. The book thing was intriguing. That was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I think all my friends would find two things wildly ironic. One, that I can now call myself an author, and the other thing is that I wrote a book on toughness. How ironic they would find that. But the book's really not about me. Any example from my life has been, here's where I fell short and what I learned from it. It's mostly about what I learned from other people. And I wish, honestly, Lauren, I wish I'd done this project when I was a teenager, because I would have been a better player. Knowing, sort of learning about this, I would have been a better player, would have been a better person, husband, father, friend, all that. I'm glad I did it now, but I wish I'd done it then.
Well, thanks again for joining us. I loved your speech out there, so be sure to come back and join us sometime. Go Broncos.